Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with DC's Trinity and one of their most darkest iterations. Today we're going over the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Dark Knights Death Metal. Going over the Batman and then the Superman and the Wonder Woman from the Darkfather wave. And you see you have all three of them together like this and you just cannot wait to get them out of the box and put them in poses that you saw from the comics. If you guys want to pick these up, first and foremost, please, as I always say, support your local comic shop and see if they have these figures in stock. If not, they are still available at the time of this recording at Darkfather Toys and Big Bad Toy Store. So let's kind of go around the figure boxes. So we'll start with old Bats here. And as you can see, Multiverse looks awesome in the packaging. McFarlane Toys up there. Love that they always put the Death Metal logo there on the top. I think that's a very nice added bonus. Side window. Come around and you see them on the Bat Cycle, which we will go over that eventually. Figures from the wave, I'll make sure you get a close-up so you can see that at your convenience. Come around here, Batman, Dark Knights, Death Metal, and I love that they put the logo from the comic there. And then, of course, there's nothing underneath. Him, Soups, looks great. See the parts for the Highfather there, Superman there, McFarlane up there. Side window, come around, love the product shot there. Same, I'll get a close-up for the figures of the wave so you can guys look at it at your convenience. Come around, and I'm glad that that matches the Death Metal there. Superman, nothing underneath. Come over to Diana, McFarlane here, Death Metal there, same with Superman. Nothing underneath except for what I paid for it. Boring side window. Fancy action figure photography there. Figures from the wave, so again, I'll get a close-up of that so you can look at it at your convenience. Come around this side. Always appreciate that, as I just said. Death Metal. So there are the boxes in a nutshell. I'm biting at the bit, so why don't we go ahead and jump in and get these figures out of the packaging. And here's our heroes out of the packaging, and you put all three of them together, and they look superb. I was not a huge fan of Death Metal. The series itself, 1 through 7, it was kind of blasé. The spin-off books were a lot better. We'll get into that in a moment. But I did like the character designs. I like this different look of Superman. Absolutely loved this trench coat Batman. And then, of course, it's just this badass, queen-looking, chainsaw-wielding Wonder Woman look. Spectacular. As for the figures themselves, there are a couple, surprisingly, only a couple of gripes from these three that I have. So let's get them off the spinner and get a closer look at them. So the first appearance of Diana and Bruce in these outfits was Dark Knights Death Metal, number 1. The first appearance of Superman like this is Dark Knights Death Metal number 3. Now the reason that he has this stone arm is he's being exposed to the anti-life. And how that's happening is the Darkfather, which is a Superman or Batman that beat Darkseid in another universe and became the Darkfather. So as he's exposing him to all these different kryptonites from the Dark Multiverse, it's killing his Kryptonian cells and exposing him to anti-life. And that's kind of why Darkseid looks the way he was. When he was Prince Oxus, I think is how you pronounce his name, he usurped the throne of Apocalypse from his brother and claimed the Omega Force for himself, which changed his look to stone, and that's how he got Darkseid looking the way he was. Now, as for Batman, there's a secret to why Batman, and we'll get into this, why he's wearing a Black Lantern ring, but I want you guys to read the story. Now, I've gone over issues 1 through 7 of Dark Knights Death Metal, and I said in the review that when you're going to do an event, all your big stuff should happen in the main event book, or you should have a kickoff book that leads into it. The reason that I said that is they did issues, I think, 1 through 3, and then they released an issue called Dark Knights Death Metal Guidebook, which explains how the Batman Who Laughs attacked the main universe. Batman, being overwhelmed by hordes of other evil Batman, has to retreat from Gotham. He loses that, and because of that, Wonder Woman surrenders Themyscira to save her sisters, but, it's a lie. So instead, the island is turned to ash and becomes a hell prison for Earth's villains, with Diana as the warden. which we see in the beginning of issue 1 of Death Metal. Superman fell to the Darkfather and was used to fuel an artificial sun and demoralize any other heroes from rising up. Now, if they would have started the guidebook, like if that would have been the kickoff book before Death Metal, I really do think that a lot of more people would have gotten on board, because after that, there were so many other tie-in books where things were happening, and if you weren't reading those, the main 7 issues did not make sense. So that's why I say, if you're going to do an event book, take your time. I know you guys want to make money, but if it doesn't make sense, then why would anybody care about it? So that's just my 2 cents. Now let's dive into the paint apps on these gorgeous looking figures. We'll start with Bats here. And one thing right off the bat about this Batman that I laughed a little bit about is they were trying to kind of give him sort of like a 5 o'clock shadow, which you can kind of see there. And to me, it looks like he fell in like a pile of dirt or cow manure. But, you know, this is supposed to be a messed up world, so there's no real place to poop, shower, or shave. I love the cowl. I'm glad that they decided for the design to go with the short horns. I love the Kevlar armor. It looks sort of like the Arkham series from Rocksteady. It looks like that type of outfit. Love the bat symbol with the skulls. That is gorgeous. And I like how if you can kind of hear that, how that sounds like vinyl. So, you know, it looks like a Kevlar outfit. That bat looks amazing. I like that all the ripples go where they're supposed to. Love the knee chains. It reminds me of something from like 90s comics where everybody had pouches anywhere and everywhere. So that's a welcome addition. The bat knee pads are absolutely gorgeous. Love how they just look like they're pounded in with studs. Combat boots look great with the little, I forget what he calls these on the sides of his gloves. If you guys can remember, let me know. But that's cool. The feet, we'll get into that in a minute. I'll talk about the feet right now. Love the gauntlets or the bracers on his arms. That silver with the belt buckles looks good. The gloves, I love that they added the little knuckles, the little spiked knuckles. So you punch him in the face, it's going to hurt. Speaking of which, when you guys put in the scythe, careful on those, because those hurt my fingers like crazy. This coat, the pads just look so awesome. It kind of reminds me of the Crow. Love the tattered and tornness of it, so it doesn't look pretty, because we're not in a pretty world in this book. And it's flimsy. It's that soft plastic. Very cool stuff. Like the open belt buckles there, so be careful. But that just really adds another layer to this uniform. Just overall, great Batman. Now, speaking of which, real quick, let's go over his accessory. Love this scythe. They re-released him with a heavy metal guitar, which I feel like if they're going to re-release it, they should have done something different instead of doing the exact same figure with a different accessory. That reminds me of when Lisa on The Simpsons was trying to release Lisa Lionheart to go against Malibu Stacy, and everyone was getting ready to run up and buy it, and they hauled out a whole new line of Malibu Stacy, and Lisa's like, guys, don't buy into it. It's just a hat that you could take off. And then there's like a pause, and Smithers goes, but she has a new hat, and everybody attacks it. So that's always been my theory and why I'm very, very retentive about that. But anyway, back to the review. The blade looks cool. I'm glad that they add dings to make it not look perfect. You could tell that this axe has seen some action. And I like how the stick itself is just nastily deformed. Type of stuff that you'd expect from a book, and then it's just all wrapped up and looks just brutal. Love it. The other accessory that I'm just going to throw up, because every one of these characters comes with it, is a stand. Yay. Stand. Always helps. Okay, moving on. And we'll go ahead and jump into Wonder Woman's accessory before we look at her. Love this gold chainsaw. Freaking phenomenal there. This reminds me of something like Ash from Evil Dead would use. I like that the blades are blue. You know, I think it's just called the bar. I used to do wildland firefighting, and I used to have to clean these every day. They're such a pain in the ass, especially sharpening these teeth. Oh, forget about it. Anyway, love that handle. That gold looks good. It looks very Amazonian, and you can see all the nice attention to details. Let me see if I can get a closer look on that for you guys. But yeah, the attention to details on here just really set this thing off. The handguard, same thing. love the attention to detail on these things. Like that blue pennant or gem, whatever that's supposed to be. Again, just adds another layer to make this thing look nice and detailed. Now, speaking of detailed, let's go into Diana herself. I like that they gave her this blue hair in the book. I don't know why. I guess they just wanted to do something different, but I just think it's nice. The headdress she didn't have at first, but it was kind of on and off when she had that thing. The blue eyes look great. I like how the hair just swoops large. These shoulder pads with the skulls, and just how the leather just goes right through the eye socket. That is so cool. The gold bracers. Blah, 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 blah. Skin tone looks good. The head sculpt, I'm really, really enjoying this thing. I love the black lipstick on there. And again, this cape, awesome. Has the nice little swoops on it. Soft plastic, just be careful taking it out of the packaging. I'm glad that they didn't skip on any detail on the back with the cape. So, her whole backside here looks the way it's supposed to, like that. The gold that goes all the way around to kind of just give you that Wonder Woman look. That black they decided to add was such a great little idea. The pendant on her neck looks good. Wonder Woman belt looks good. Her skirt looks great. The gold, blue, these boots. And you can actually stand it. They're even compared to the crappy Hasbro ones. So these boots with all those designs on there, I mean, look at the intricate detail and all that stuff. Just really makes Diana pop. And because of those boots, stands pretty. Now let's go into Superman. My one gripe with Supes is I love the design they did for the comic. But the face sculpt on this one, it just looks off. Like, I kind of wish that they would have used the Action Comics 1000 head sculpt and then just added this stuff, because then it would look like Supes. But this, to me, just looks like a very mad Rosie O'Donnell. I'm not trying to be mean, but just the face just reminds me of that. So, trying to get that image out of your head, still great. I love the swooping black hair. Looks good, though I do wish, like with the comics, they would have just added some very soft blue brushing, because like I said, in the 80s, to show that characters had black hair without just doing like a black blap on their head, they used to put blue to show highlights, and I kind of wish that they would have done that with this figure. I like, because, he's been a prisoner to the Darkfather for years. His uniform, the only thing that's left of it is his shirt. And of course, that big, large and in charge S looks amazing. I like that on his fist here. It's like you can get punched in the face. Well, guess what? You're going to have a Superman emblem in your face. I like the wrap, on the other hand. Very post-apocalyptic, very Mad Max. Love these. Like, anytime they're going to do a post-apocalyptic thing, you always have to have flippy type of bandana stuff everywhere. Love this chain belt. But then again, I was a product of 90s comics, so when I see shit like this, I love it. Has that gunmetal gray to it, has a black wash on it, pants look good. Again, I like that they didn't skip on the back. Everything just looks battle damaged. This arm looks great. Love how just all the cricks and nastiness showing that he is becoming an apocalypse type character. Now, he does have another 2 sets of hands, but they put them clear across the other side of the room, and I don't want to get them. Just trust me that they look great, and they match the color tone here, which, as I just said, skin tone looks good. Red eyes look great. Love the boots. And look at this. No ball joint. And that's what I'm kind of going to get at with Batman, is I hate that his feet have ball joints. Diana, that was one thing I didn't go over. Hold on a second. We'll go more of it in the over it in the articulation. But they gave her the ball joints in the hand, and that just really offsets the whole aesthetic of her character, is seeing that nasty little ball. It was the same mistake when they did the Dr. Fate character, because you just see that thing and you're just like, oh god, this is going to look ugly. So you have to hide it when you do photography. But thankfully, I'm glad that the bracers hide it better, but you can still see where that ugly little bump is. I wish that they would have taken that away, and then it was, we just were talking about, Batman's feet fall victim to the same thing, and they should have done what they did with the Superman, where you don't see that ugly ass ball joint. It's just one nice, big, beefy post-apocalyptic looking foot. Absolutely amazing. Love all the buckles. Love all the frilly little bandana stuff. Just overall, minus a few gripes, I really do think that these characters are absolutely beautiful. I'm glad that I got all three of them to match the book. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think they look absolutely gorgeous when it comes to the paint apps, minus the stupid ball joint stuff. Surprisingly, I'm not pissed off about the articulation. So we'll go ahead and start with bats. Let me get Diana and Clark out of the way here. So for Mr. Wayne here, his head can go down that much. And he look up relatively well. I'm glad that his coat collar does not get in the way. Can turn that way, can turn that way. Does have some play, so you can get some different emotional looks about him. His head does rock back and forth. Arms go up. And because this is a soft plastic, you can kind of move it around. Just be careful. So you can go 360. Double jointed elbows. Hands twist 360. And again, see how they hide the ball joint within this bracer? So thankful for that. So his hands do go up and down as well the way they're supposed to. He can go down. And he goes mostly from here. You can also go here. You just got to be really careful. So he can go down about that much. And far back, pretty good. That's impressive. Legs can go out that much. And check this out, guys. An upper thigh cut. Oh my God. I did not think I'd ever see the day on a McFarlane figure. Legs go out that much. And look at that. That is a great range of motion there. My goodness. I am thankful for that. Double jointed knees. And of course, foot go up, foot go down. Let me focus because I'm all sorts of blurring you guys. Sorry. Does have his toe pivot. Oh, that one's stuck. Let's do the other one. Foot piece there go up and down. And he does have a pivot. So the articulation on Batman, phenomenal. Superman, he does have longer hair, so the head part is sort of frustrating. He can look up about that much, which is not too bad. Can look down that way. Head go that way. Head go that way, and he does have play, just like with Batman. Can go up that much. Head does as well. Ouch. 360. Sorry. Oh, and Batman, just like with Superman, does have a upper bicep swivel as well. I missed that. Double jointed. 360 on the hands. Can go up and down. And again, I'm just glad that they hid that hideous effing ball joint. Good stuff there. And then what's cool about these characters is when you twist them, I forgot to do this with Batman as well, but he twists at the waist and at the upper part of the torso as well, which helps, as I was just talking about, where you can go down that much and that much. That's great stuff. Legs out that much. Legs out about that much. And he kind of has a butt flap, but it's what do you call it? Soft, so you can push it back as far as you need to. I mean, yeah, his butt's going to look a little flat, but who gives a crap? Double jointed knees. Foot go down. And I'm glad that they left this clearance for the foot, so foot can go up. He does have the flap, and he does have a little bit of a pivot. Yeah, a pivot. We're going to start calling it a pivot, all right? So the articulation is just really stepping up. Diana, same thing, even though she has her longer hair, she can get a look down that much. And if you work her, you can get it to look about that much. Head twist that way. It's just that long hair thing is just always a pain in the ass. But you can look that way. Have a little bit of play in the head, but not a whole lot. Arms can go 360. Again, you have to watch out for the hair. Can go out that much. She has a upper bicep as well. Double jointed elbows. And then here, this is one thing I forgot to mention during the articulation segment. I don't know what McFarlane is smoking, but why the hell are we getting a closed hand? Because they just released a version of her with the Dr. Fate helmet, and she has a closed fist on that one as well. It's like, what the fuck are you guys thinking? We can't do anything. Give us a set of punch hands and a set of open hands. Don't do one and the other. That just really limits the potential of what we can do with your figures. So please, for the love of God, knock it off. Hand spin 360. And even though she has that ugly ball thing, at least you get a nice motion there. She can go down that much. Let me refocus because she decided to screw my focus. Oop, and I dropped the camera. I apologize for that, guys. That's totally my bad. My hands are just all over the place. She can go back that much, kick out that much, kick out that much. I'm glad that she doesn't have the butt flap problem like Superman. Legs can go out that much. Double jointed knee. And then she kind of has an upper thigh cut, and I believe Superman does too, which I think his is more hidden further up yet. So he has an upper thigh cut as well. And again, I'm glad that they left space for the foot, so the foot can go up, foot can go down. And I'm glad that the bracer here hides that ugly ass ball joint. And then of course these go that way, and she kind of has a pivot, but not as much as the other one. So yeah, the articulation for all three, minus a few gripes here and there, astounding. And that's very rare that I can say that the McFarlane DC Multiverse line, you know, the articulation's been very, very spotty. So I'm glad that they're really starting to up their game on it. Look at the different size comparisons, y'all. Deadpool, so teeny. This is the Sauron Build-A-Figure way, Marvel Legends. Deadpool, this is the Snyder Cuts Deluxe Darkseid. I keep on saying Apocalypse, Darkseid. And of course the figures that we just went over. And I love how, because he's a deluxe figure, Darkseid just towers over everybody. And then Hasbro kind of keeps the traditional 6 to 6.5 inch looking figure. As where McFarlane's like, you know what, screw it, we're going to go with 7 inch. And that's why these three tower. And I like that Diana, even if you kind of straighten her up a little bit, still not as tall as Superman or I think Batman too. So you kind of move him over here. Well, I guess Bruce is a little bit shorter than Diana because she's an Amazon. But I'm glad that they kind of made sure to scale that she's a little bit smaller than Superman. And I'm glad that action figures are starting to pay attention to that. I've said that so many times in my reviews where, you know, you'll buy the old school like Kenner figures or Toy Biz, and they're all the same height. And it's just like, who cares? I mean, there's a few, like, you know, Guido from the old Toy Biz line, the strong guy. He was kind of big. Colossus was kind of big, but everybody else, men and women, had the same head size, which I think they just used the same mold and applied things differently. But I'm glad that they're really paying attention and taking just regular action figures that you can get from like Walmart or Target and taking them to a next level. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. I love all three of these characters. I had an absolutely spectacular time posing them. I'm glad that I have all three main characters from Death Metal now. The paint apps are gorgeous. Superman's face, I do feel like needed a little bit of help, but I can let that pass. Wonder Woman, I hate that she falls victim to the ball joints in her hand, and the same can be said true about Batman with the ball joints in his feet. But other than that, when you look at Superman's hands, Wonder Woman's feet, and Superman's hands and feet, the ball joints are not there, or at least they're not as irritating or predominant. So I'm just kind of thinking, hey, guys, can you look at your line and maybe start getting rid of that ball joint thing and kind of look at what Hasbro's doing, because that ball joint just looks so damn ugly, and that's what really takes away from the aesthetic of both her and the Dr. Fate figure that we went over. But yeah, I mean, like the cape, you know, has that nice soft plastic or felt or plastic, vinyl, whatever you want to call it. Same with Batman's coat. I love the chains on Superman. These are three figures that just look great. But then again, when DC kind of does like Elseworld stories, I'm always gets excited to see what type of costume designs. Like I said, the main death metal comic itself is not that great. And we talked about that in detail, so I'm not going to get back on my soapbox. But in terms of just action figures, having different worldly versions of 3 of our favorite DC heroes is always a welcome addition, in my opinion. Now, if you guys have enjoyed these action figures, please, first and foremost, as I said at the beginning, check with your local comic shop and see if they have them in stock. If not, you can check out the routes that we talked about at the beginning. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little Trinity bell next to subscribe, that way we can continue to upload content. You guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all, hearing your feedback and your thoughts down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, photo slideshow coming up next. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.